What's up, nerds? Continuing with the Mon Calamari ship breakdowns, let's get into the MC80a, a formidable variant in the MC80 line, which was importantly produced by Mon Calamari shipyards after they gained freedom from Imperial control in 1 BBY. Unlike earlier MC80 versions that were repurposed from exploration ships or luxury liners, essentially space cruise ships that were then weaponized for the Rebel Alliance, the MC80a was purpose-built for war, making it leaner and more powerful than its predecessors. Measuring 1,200 meters or 0.75 miles in length, it was about 5 ARC-170s longer than the Venator, and about a C-9979 less than an Imperial Star Destroyer. There was no official price, but it was probably close to the Liberty type, which was 104K, again right in between the Venator and ISD. It had a crew of 5,402 and space for an additional 1,200 troops, while being armed with 48 Tamanback XV9 turbolaser batteries, controlled by a Platdroma targeting computer, which is a bit of a surprising drop-off in weaponry. The turbolasers are as powerful as those found on the ISD and these other Mon Calamari behemoths, but it seems to lack the ion weaponry and torpedoes, which were put to excellent use by the Liberty. Though like its sister ships, it did have a great complement. Its 3 fighter bays housed 6 starfighter squadrons, 3 composed of BTL Y-wing starfighters, 1 with A-wing interceptors, and 2 with X-wing starfighters. It featured a Searage seal shielding system, which was powered by a Triluna 400 MGS star drive and hyperdrive system, allowing it to reach a top sublight speed of 60 megalights, and likely had that same 975 kilometers per hour top speed in atmosphere. Propulsion came from 10 clustered engine thrusters at the ventral stern of the rounded, oddly oblong hull. The gray exterior was marked by pods and bulges, with a single elevated pod situated midship or further back on some of the ships, and the hull overall with its scalloped organic design would evoke an appearance of a ray, as Mon Calamari aesthetics often mimic nature, which was just a smart way to make sure that they were able to operate underwater, which was their primary role before operating in space. We don't get any confirmation if these pods come off like they do in the Home 1, which was exceptional for its whole breakaway larger ships and tons of smaller escape pods. It really could just be that they were like some of these other pods, which were filled with ship assets like turbolaser batteries or shield generators. By 4 ABY leading up to the Battle of Endor, the MC80a Star Cruiser had become an integral part of the Rebel Alliance fleet, actively serving for nearly 5 years at this point in the Galactic Civil War. Following the daring rescue of General Han Solo on Tatooine, a fleet of Alliance starships, including these A's, would gather near Sullust, and Rebel leaders assembled aboard the flagship Home 1 to devise their plan to attack the Empire's second Death Star. We can see one of these A's as it was near the Home 1 as the fleet prepared for their hyperspace jump to Endor, and at least 10 MC80a cruisers took part in the ensuing battle, which, though an Imperial trap, turned out to be the greatest victory for the Alliance. Of all those ships, at least 6 survived the fierce battle. The A's would continue their service into the Rebel Alliance as it evolved into the New Republic, and one specific cruiser, the Naratus, was sent to the Outer Rim territories for anti-piracy missions. Under the command of Mon Calamari Captain Jenkal, the Naratus succeeded in dismantling the pirate group known as the Quimian Survivors. By the time of the Corellian Crisis in 18 ABY, the Naratus, considered aging by retired Vice Admiral Kursk Malia, remained one of the New Republic's few operational capital ships. And while on patrol duty in the Coruscant system, it used a tractor beam to seize an unidentified ex-TIE fighter. The pilot, undercover intelligence agent Belindi Kalinda, was brought aboard and later handed over to Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, revealing a plot to trigger a supernova in the Thantra Zilbar star. The Naratus led an evacuation force to the Thantra Zilba system, striving to rescue as many inhabitants as possible before the star's destruction by the ancient Center Point Station superweapon, activated by the Sicorian Triad. Luckily, it was still in service in the New Republic fleet during the Yuuzhan Vong War, where at least one would play a critical role in intercepting a Yuuzhan Vong escape pod carrying Jedi apprentice Jason Solo over the Calamari shipyards, putting a perfect, poetic end to the ship that served freedom. In the original Mon Calamari that broke away, overthrew the Empire, maintained peace, and eventually fought off the Vong. That's it for its breakdown. It's a bit shorter, but it's one of these classic ships that we're always seeing and just never understand exactly what makes it different. And as for behind the scenes facts, this wingless sort of Liberty class first made its appearance in Return of the Jedi, though it was not named at the time. ILM model artists aimed to expand the Rebels' fleet visual variety, and so they modified the original wingless model into the Liberty type by adding wings and swapping out one engine for a pod. The name MC80a Star Cruiser was first introduced in West End Games' 1990 The Rebel Alliance sourcebook, while many earlier references just kinda gave a vague MC80 to all of these different ships, which we now know as the Home 1, the Liberty, and the MC80a. Specifically, it was used interchangeably in the Thrawn trilogy sourcebook, and continued over a bunch of video games like the X-Wing games. And one kind of frustratingly lore-breaking point is that in the 1996 Essential Guide to Vehicles and Vessels and the official Star Wars fact file, as well as the 2012 Essential Guide to Warfare, all point out that this is a more stronger version of the MC80a Star Cruiser, which would be the Home 1 line. So I would expect it to have the heavy twin ion cannon batteries, which were 36 in number, 80 quad laser cannons, maybe even some missile and torpedo tubes, since the Home 1 type Star Cruiser only had 29 to 36 heavy turbolaser batteries. And so the A version is jumping that up to 48, but it'd be odd to say that it's more powerful overall if it lost all the ion weapons, laser cannons, and explosive munition options. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please hit that like button, it's the best way to help me out. Subscribe to see more and check out these other videos, I'm sure you'll like them. But most important of all, remember, Fishfolk engineering is simply unmatched. And the Force will be with you, always.